Hello, I'm Willie Johnson, and this is a true story about my sin. And I'll explain how it's true a little bit later. So I'm walking down the highway of life, right? And I see this place called Sin in the distance. Now Sin is bright lights, it's real flashy, it's real attractive. Now I had heard about Sin and seen it on the TV. I heard it was the hangout spot from all the rappers. So I started thinking about going there, right? But as I got closer, people I knew started telling me not to go there. They said it's better out here. But I looked around and so many of my friends and family were going there, I began to feel left out. I could hear people talking about how cool it was on the inside. So I'm at the door, and I ignored everyone else who told me not to go. I walked in and I saw everyone. So I'm like, hey man, I didn't know you were here. I saw the pastors and deacons' children, all my homies. So the workers take me to my own room. It's nice, it has everything I ever wanted. It has things I didn't even know I wanted. They had a menu with all kinds of pleasure, some sexual, some physical, some mental. So I'm excited, and I'm getting everything on the menu that interests me. It was so nice I started inviting my friends. I got whatever I wanted. Now there were some things that just wasn't for me, you know. I went to church. But sin was fun for a while, but I started to feel sad afterwards. I would get something, I would just feel bad. Then I needed sin to feel good at all. I noticed my friends in sin felt the same way too. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see myself any longer. My friends in sin looked differently too. So one day I asked the workers if I could get a new menu, you know, get something else, something more fulfilling. The workers told me that's all they offered. So I'm like, alright, I'm gonna ask the manager if this is true, because I think this guy's lying. He said it was all they offered. So now I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. On your commercials, on your advertisement, on everything you put out, you say that sin offers lasting happiness. But where is it at? The manager told me they don't offer that. So I'm like, you lied to me. I'm angry now. I'm mad at my friends because they lied to me too. I'm mad at everyone because everyone lied. So I go back to my room and I got some sin from the menu. But it didn't help. It didn't make me feel better. So then I looked around my room and I noticed things I never noticed before. Like the walls were plain and there were no windows. So I kicked all of my friends out of my room because they lied to me. But as they began to leave, my room began to change. Once they stopped glorifying my room, the color went away. I noticed that the light they shed on it made it look better than it really was. When the light was gone, my room was dark and lonely. So I'm thinking, well, about time to go. This really wasn't what I expected after all. So I started walking out of my room, and as I got closer to leaving, I heard the clanking of metal. All of a sudden, bars slid in front of my face, and they locked. I realized my room looked just like a prison cell. I realized sin looked an awful lot like a prison. I realized sin was prison. So I began yelling at the workers, hey man, let me go, let me out of here. They refused. So I'm thinking to myself, shoot, I'm Willie Johnson. I got willpower. So I grabbed the bars and bent them to get out of my cell. But the workers soon caught me and brought me back. This continued for a long time. But the workers always brought me back. I tried with all my might, but I wasn't strong enough. I was stuck. I was stuck in sin. Then one day, I asked the workers why they were even holding me. The thought never crossed my mind. He smirked and said, you got a debt to pay. And I'm like, for what? He laughed hysterically and said in a mocking voice, well, you thought your sin was free? Then I asked how much I owed. He said too much. I said my mom can pay you. He said Bill Gates couldn't pay off my debt. He said all the money in the world couldn't pay off my debt. But I would pay with my life for eternity. It turns out every sin had a cost, and I had racked up quite a debt. I was stuck in sin forever. One day I read a book I had heard about when I was on the outside called the Bible. A man named Jesus was asked by a diseased man if he was willing to take his disease away from him. The next day I looked up, said, Jesus, if you're willing, take this from me. Later that day I tried to escape from sin again. I had managed to get out of my cell as always, but the guards subdued me once more. As I struggled with the guards, I shouted at the top of my lungs, Jesus, help me! Suddenly a man burst through the fortified walls. It was Jesus. The guards let me go and ran the other way. Jesus walked up to me and as he grabbed my hand, he said the same thing he said to the diseased man, I'm willing. We flew out of sin to safety. A burden had been lifted off my shoulders. As I looked back at sin, it was a small, rundown, lonely spiral to destruction. Jesus revealed what sin really was to me. Suddenly I remembered my debt. I asked Jesus, but who will pay my debt now? He smiled at me and said, funny you should ask. My dad is pretty rich and he sent me here to pay it a long time ago. Jesus has saved me from my sin. Every once in a while, sin promoters will try to get me to go back. I was one of their best customers. But just as everyone who gets out of jail says, man, I ain't going back. And it's true too, because who the Son sets free is truly free indeed. So after that, me and Jesus talked every day. He would tell me which way to go to avoid places like sin. One day I went the opposite way of what Jesus told me. I ended up in a ditch full of thorns. But Jesus dropped a present from heaven. There were thorns stabbing me and I was in pain. But when I opened the present, the pain went away and he stabbed me on the right path again. This present was called grace. Another day he gave me peace. I didn't worry anymore. Another day he gave me joy. I was so excited and had no idea why. People will see me walking around with my presents and they say, do your presents ever run out? I tell them nope, they're free too. I finally had my lasting happiness. I began asking myself why Jesus gave me so much. I finally come to this conclusion. He just loves me that much. Now this is a true story because I had struggled with things and I had opened some doors that I could not close. I could not stop doing what I struggled with. And I'm a pretty strong person. But what my willpower couldn't do, Jesus did. And I literally prayed, Jesus, if you're willing, please help me with this. The next day, or not the next day, a little time after that, my mind began to change about it. I no longer was satisfied with that. I didn't like it. I thought about it and I almost threw up. Literally. I could go back and try it again, but it doesn't fulfill at all. So as far as I'm concerned, this is how I know he's real. Because things that are made up, they don't have truth to them. But the Bible has truth to it. And I have John 3:16 says, Jesus so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. That is the love that we need in this world. John 4:10 through 13 is talking about a woman at a well. She was thirsty, but Jesus gave her everlasting water. And Luke 11:9 through 10 talks about ask, seek, knock, and it will be open to you. Seek and you will find. So if you don't know Jesus, if you think I'm making it up, try it for yourself. Don't knock it until you try it. Because it will work. And he said, if you ask me, he will reveal himself. That's what Jesus said. So thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to my story.